Prologue. My name is Skeptic. This is a diary of my adventures. Never thought I would write a bloody diary, but this crap is just insane, so needs to be recorded in the event that I don't make it home. To start, I was at work, looking forward to the end of my shift and going home to my wife Crispy and my 3 young children, all boys much to my wife's chagrin, when I suddenly felt dizzy and collapsed to the ground. My last waking thought, crap, what now? Day 1. I awoke to the soft hum of machinery. My mind still foggy, I looked around at the dull, antiseptic-smelling room, the dim light revealing dead screens and equipment of unknown design or purpose. My body felt a little weird. All the aches and pains that had developed in my 51 years of hard graft and poor lifestyle choices were gone. My vision was also better, clearer. I could see my glasses with my clothes in the corner but didn't need them, so stayed put to let my head clear. Trying desperately to keep calm, I looked around again, taking in the dead screens and equipment of what I now assumed was some kind of medical room. For a moment, I thought this was some elaborate prank, but logic asserted itself. Nobody I know would pull something like this. Looking around again, okay, I thought, get dressed then look for an exit. I would figure out what to do next after finding a way out. I swung my legs over the edge of the bed, feeling as if I had become a lab rat in some fucked up experiment. My heart raced as I caught sight of my reflection in a polished metallic surface. There, nestled beneath my skin, was a faint glow, a network of circuitry entwined with the fibers of my muscle. I raised a trembling hand to my face, realizing the impossible truth: I had been surgically altered. Getting dressed, it seemed, wasn't an option due to my uniform having been cut from me. I put on my specs only to face out through blurry vision. Well, at least they fixed my eyes, whoever, or as I was starting to think, whatever had brought me here. I took a closer look at the only lit screen in the room, but couldn't read the unknown language displayed, though I did recognize the human-shaped diagram displayed there. For the first time since I woke up, I spoke out loud, "Where the fuck am I?" and was shocked when a faint voice responded in an unknown language. Thinking as quickly as my adult mind would allow, I asked if they could understand me, and if so to respond with yes, and received a one-word response, yes. Okay, I thought, they can understand me, I can't understand them. Well, this should prove to be annoying. I searched my ruined clothes, finding my phone, and asked the voice, as I still hadn't seen anyone, if there was somewhere I could plug my phone in so they could upload my English dictionary. Their response was to activate a screen with what looked like my phone's picture on it. After I placed my phone on the screen, my phone started to flash rapidly before the phone screen went black. I picked up my phone, noting the battery was now dead. That's just fucking perfect, I thought. Now I couldn't phone anyone when I got in range of a tower. The voice then said, "Please proceed to the bridge to finalize the bonding process," in perfect English. Bonding process? I asked. "Biological pilot must be bonded to operate this vessel," the voice replied. "What the fuck?" I said. "Is this a ship?" "Yes," replied the voice. "Okay, so who are you?" I asked. "I am this vessel's A.I. I asked the AI where its crew were and was told the previous pilot had died after completing his last mission before hiding this heavily damaged vessel inside a rogue asteroid. Turns out the ship was a prototype built with both biological and technological components fully merged together. She was built by an alien race called Elkan. They were a race of explorers until they encountered another alien race called simply Ravagers, a spaceborne race who moved from system to system, harvesting everything including the system's sun. Their world ship left only dead, silent systems behind it. The Elkan had fought them, but even with far more advanced technology, their fleets were destroyed in losing battle after losing battle. The biggest problem the Elkan had was the nature of the Ravagers. They were cybernetic life forms, and their world ship had hundreds of billions of drones, all controlled by an insane AI. Vastly outnumbered, the Elkan had abandoned all their colonized systems. Unable to stop the Ravagers' advance, they developed more powerful weapons and ships, but all fell before the Ravagers' relentless advance. After 200 years of trying to stop the Ravagers, the Elkan's home system went dark, leaving only one Elkan survivor, a researcher who had been studying a fallen Ravager drone scout ship that had strayed too close to his research lab built into an asteroid just outside of the Elkan home system. His name was Zoran, and he built this prototype ship to deliver a coded virus that he had developed. If he could get close enough to the Ravager's world ship, and if he could survive long enough to transmit the virus, it should kill the insane AI and end the Ravager's threat to the galaxy. Zoran had indeed fulfilled his last mission, but in the progress his ship had been badly damaged and Zoran badly injured. After escaping from the quickly dying Ravager world ship, he had limped back to his lab within the asteroid. He had parked the ship as deep within the asteroid as he could get, leaving instructions for the ship's AI to wait for a new compatible pilot, before shutting down all but the AI's power and leaving the ship. The ship's AI didn't know where his creator pilot had gone, but a few hours later there was a massive explosion from the direction of Zoran's lab. The force of the explosion sent the asteroid on its own interstellar journey. This all happened around 30,000 years ago. How did I get here? I asked. Compy replied that it didn't know. I had just appeared in the med room, and as I was the first and only visitor that was compatible with the ship, it had begun the bonding process by implanting the required technology. Okay, so I'm trapped on a crippled ancient ship within an asteroid traveling through space. I asked for the ship's current status. You have to be fucking kidding me. Power left 3%, just enough to provide minimum life support, weapons, shields, engines, and around 70% of the ship's systems were fried. The AI who I renamed Compy told me that only the bonded pilot could direct repairs, but first I needed to find a fuel source to generate power to charge the repair drones and mine any resources they needed from the asteroid. Oh goody, mining an asteroid without a space suit or even just clothes, that would be suicidal, I told Compy. And what about food and water? I had asked. Compy told me that the ship had a replicator that could provide all the supplements my biological system needed to thrive, but I needed to provide power for the replicator first. Compy then directed me to a locker of sorts that contained an undersuit, an armored EVA suit that surprisingly adjusted themselves to my smaller-than-Elkin human build. Once dressed, I asked where I could find a fuel source and was directed to travel deeper into the asteroid with a hand scanner and a drill tool that would mine the resources I needed and automatically, as long as I was in range, transport them directly to the ship for processing. If out of range, the tool came equipped with a small dimensional storage zone. Like a storage box in RPG-type games. Pretty cool. This techie stuff is way over my head. I first went to the bridge to finish the bonding process. I didn't like the necessity, but my only way home was this ship, and I was prepared to do whatever it took to get back to my wife and kids. I sat as directed in the only seat on the bridge, and something connected to an implant in the back of my neck. Fuck, I'm going to puke. The world span, images flashing through my skull faster than I could register them. A blinding light shot through my head. It was done. I had access to all ship systems and could see how huge a task it would be to return this ship to being space-worthy. A list of priorities formed in my head: power to run the life support and replicator tech. Easy enough. Compy told me this asteroid had an abundance of diamond that contained large amounts of energy that could be used to recharge and restart the ship's power systems. I just had to find some. I left the ship, entering a weightless environment using the suit's jets to move around. I had always disliked going EVA in Space Engineers and other games that depicted space, but I was now thankful as I was able to navigate and move around easily after a few minutes of learning the suit's controls. It took about 5 minutes to find the diamond-type crystals Compy said it needed, and after a fumbling start I managed to get the tool to start mining. Yes, it's just as boring as gathering resources in every survival game I had ever played. I found other resources whilst collecting power crystals, making note of iron, copper, zinc, platinum, and gold. After I had almost exhausted my O2 supply, I returned to the ship to find all the surviving systems up and running, and repair drones crawling all over the ship, repairing anything they could with the limited resources on hand. Compy said it would need 5 times more power crystals to fully recharge the power core, so after I recharged my suit's power and O2, I returned to the tedious task of mining for power crystals. It was a case of rinse and repeat for the rest of that first day, but by the end of my 5th trip I had enough, so I returned to the ship, exhausted and starving. Compy had the replicator online, so I got food, if you could call it that. It tasted bland and had a horrible texture, but Compy said it would provide my body with everything it needed. The water it produced was crystal clear and was surprisingly refreshing. I went to the pilot's cabin and fell into a deep sleep.